Hey guys, Jay from RS Garage, and today I'm going to introduce these two Fox bodies. This is a 93 coupe. It's lived a fairly gentle life. It's a really well-preserved car. The interior is really minty. It's got a pushrod based stroker engine that's going to come out of it, but what the new owner wanted was a really clean core. That way when the car's all done, he's not chasing down little bits of trim. He just has a nice car to enjoy. This car is a former FHP car that now has a Coyote swap, Motec box, 6-speed, full harness. So the full harness and engine driveline is going to come out of this car. It's going to go into this car. While this car's apart, it's going to go off to paint. I've been working with Samuel's Auto Body since I was around 19 years old, and we've painted a bunch of Fox body Mustangs together over the years. And this is going to be going through his process at the shop. So we're going to do the engine compartment, we're going to do the outside of the car. It's not going to go on a rotisserie. It's not going to be anything super crazy, but it's going to be a really nice car when it's done. These cars are kind of showing their age as the guys that loved them when they were kids. And now there's a bunch of guys my age that they want these cars and they're out there. So I've had a Fox body. I've probably had more Fox bodies than I could even count, but we've run probably 10 or 12 through Samuel's Auto Body over the years. And I'm pretty excited that this car is going to get back to kind of where it needed to be, because for a while now it's needed a paint job. So it doesn't show well, but the bones are good. This car's had a pretty cush life, and it'll go on to be, you know, kind of a show quality piece. But either one of these cars is pretty cool, and we'll update you in the following months of the progress. I'm here with Caden Samuels. Caden Samuels is a young man that I met right about the time he was born. His parents and I go back into the late 90s. His father owns a body shop called Samuel's Auto Body, and he's been my primary body shop source since I was a teenager. Painted many Fox bodies and quite a few Supras through that body shop, and they're still putting out a very good product, and this car needs a paint job. And part of the deal of getting this car was I promised its previous owner, his name is Chris Schneider, him and his father were together on this car in a project, and as Chris kind of outgrew the project, it fell idle and he wanted to sell it, but he didn't want it to end up on the back of a tow truck, gutted on Facebook Marketplace, headed off to a death. So I said, well, let me get the car into a situation where it'll be good for its next owner. And it looks like Caden and his father are going to take this project on. So the car's going to go, we're going to get the driveline out of it. It's going to go to the body shop and get painted. They haven't picked the color yet. And Caden is going to be responsible for one of these panels. Every panel on this car needs some work. He's got some experience. They just went through and did a truck. What year is your truck?
1995 F-150.
It's a really cool truck. And Caden's going to learn a little bit through the process on putting the car back together, because him and I are going to work together to make it run again. So it should be a pretty neat project, and you can follow along if you're interested.
This is my first car. It's a Ford 1995 F-150. It came in this color. We restored it fully, the entire thing, me and my dad. It took a while because school and everything, but we got it done, same exact color. When we bought this truck, it was destroyed, but growing up with my dad in the body shop, I knew that this thing could turn out this nice with some work and time. We chose a truck because I like doing outdoor things, and that requires being able to tow something, being able to put stuff in the bed, being able to carry around a dirt bike, because I love dirt biking. And yeah, so a truck's just like the necessity. Cars are cool, but trucks are better.
All Good morning, guys. The red Fox Body Coyote project is underway, and there's been a little bit of a delay with the chassis shop getting the car over to get the wheel tubs in, but today the car can go on the rollback and go over and get the wheel tubs installed. But the majority of the wiring is out of the vehicle, the interior is out of the vehicle, the engine's out of the vehicle, fuel tank's out of the vehicle, and it can go get the wheel tubs in, and then when it comes back, we can start putting the Coyote bits and pieces together. I've been working on the car a little bit in preparation to go to the body shop. I've got a lot of the stuff off of it, but we still need to get the engine out. Caden stopped by after school today. He's going to help me get the transmission, bell housing, and pluck the engine out of the car. From there, I need to do a K-member swap back to a stock K-member, but then I can set the car over to his father's body shop and they can start getting all these other pieces off in preparation for paint. And you've picked a color?
Yeah, I was thinking Bimini Blue is going to be the color.
Was that an OEM color on a Fox Body?
I think so, it was, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Bimini Blue it is. A few more hours and we'll be done with this car here and it can move off to the body shop and we won't see it for a while. Today, Chris that used to own this car came by and said, "Is that the kid that's getting the car?" I said, "Yeah, do you want to meet him?" He goes, "I don't know, I just hope he has a lot of fun with it." He said, "Make a lot of good memories."
What is this, a 14?
No, you don't worry about that.
Oh, self-locking with it?
Yep. That's why I didn't tell you about it.
Oh.
What?
Nothing. This stupid thing dangles so much.
What dangles?
This freaking ratchet. It's so flimsy.
It's floppy.
I know. I don't know if I like it.
Well,
I had the 18 in my pocket.
I already went around you. Alright, so we don't have anything else on the trans that we need to be concerned about in the meantime. Although this bolt is going to be in the way once we get the jack there. So let's knock that bolt out. Do you know what's on the head of this bolt?
On the head of it?
Yeah. What do you see?
Star looking thing?
Do you know what that means?
No.
It's the grade of the hardware. But see how this one has a number?
Yeah.
Metric bolt has a number, standard bolt has lines, 3, 5, 8. This is a metric bolt hole that someone put a standard bolt in. So if you look at these threads, Ollie, no good. So these are going to get changed going back together. It's an oversight.
Is it even going anywhere?
Oh, it's going. Trans is about 130 pounds. We can just lift it out if you're strong.
Nope. I'm sore.
All right. So now the trans is supported by the jack. You drop this down.
I got it.
And we'll lower this and it's going to open up our access to the rest of the hardware on the trans. See how easy that is?
Mm-hmm. It would have taken me like 20 minutes to figure out what size it is.
Well, you have to start, it's one of those things that you do as you learn to work on vehicles is identify hardware. Hardware is one of the most important things on a car because if your hardware is in bad shape, you have a car that is not fun to work on. And if your hardware is in good shape and you care for the hardware, the car it becomes a lot easier to work on. Next step. So we need to attach, the trans is loose now, so if it wanted to, it could fall out, which wouldn't be good for either one of us.
Not good.
So we're gonna just tie it to the trans jack for a minute here until we get it in a spot. Now because it's a manual trans, it has an input shaft that's going through the clutch disc right now, and that's keeping it from just gravity falling out. Before you lower the trans down on a car, it's got a mechanical fan. You look and make sure the mechanical fan is not going to stuff itself up into the shroud and break things. So the front of the engine's clear. We've lowered the back of the engine, and now we just need to wiggle this thing out. Okay. Now we are hanging in the input shaft.
Yeah, it looks sketchy.
It's not that sketchy. What's sketchy is doing this stuff on the ground. And that's when I have to tell you, back in my day, that's how we did it. And it sucked.
Well, at least there's less room for it to fall.
Huh?
I said at least there's less space for it to fall.
Oh, yeah. This is a 6-speed. This would have come, one of the earliest ways this came was like a 93 Camaro C28 6-speed T56. Now it comes in everything. That's cool. When you're doing stuff like this, you want to make sure you have the tool all the way in, and then look where your hands are going to hit if something comes loose. You don't want to bang your hands into stuff because you're going to get hurt. And you never pull towards yourself because you'll punch yourself right in the face. Save that for later in your life. You're in a line at Disney with like 4 kids, spending your whole vacation fund on a weekend at the Mouse Land. That's when you're going to want to punch yourself in the face.
Disney sucks.
Not when you're a kid. All right, these bolts are all loose, so why don't you take them out, and I'll look for some other stuff to do.
Come on. How the frick did you get these things on the bolts so fast?
Practice, bro. You do something for a couple of decades and you don't get good at it, you need to find something else to do. This bell housing's heavy.
Yeah.
Before you take all the bolts out, you leave one bolt in it with a couple of threads. That way you can not drop it on your foot. If something's falling out of the bottom of this car while you're working on it, move yourself out of the way. There's nothing.
Is this the one that's going to stay in there?
Yeah.
So I'll take this one out up top.
Yep. Alright, whenever you loosen the pressure plate up, this is a big spring. When you put your foot on the clutch, it pushes these fingers down and it opens the clutch to disengage it. So when it's bolted together, there's a lot of tension on this. So you don't just take one bolt out. You loosen, you loosen, you loosen, you loosen, you loosen, and you do it in a pattern that allows the plate to release without getting bound up or getting uncomfortable. So a couple turns, couple turns, couple turns until you get it out.
What's this mounting for that was like in the end of the tray?
That's a drive shaft loop. So when the drive shaft breaks, it doesn't go through the floor or stuff itself in the ground and cause a crash. Whenever you grab this plate now to take it off, the disc is free and will fall on the ground and you'll damage the disc. So you take your thumb, put it in the disc, and then wiggle it off. And you hold the disc with your thumb. That way when it comes off, you got the whole assembly. It's a little sticky on the dowels. Back, fiber action. Now this is an aluminum ring, aluminum pressure plate for less weight. So there's a steel face on it, but see the back material is aluminum?
Yeah.
This is just some racy stuff to less weight swinging around. If I get to stay alive for a long time, one day I'll be like, remember when we pulled the engine out of that Mustang together?
Yeah.
See? It's going to be great. Keep going, you're in no real danger.
Alright.
Alright, take it out.
Freaking trying, chill.
Friggin'.
How the frick the heck did you do that wrist thing? Alright, it's out.
before you start tugging on the engine, look around the engine and see if there's anything connected to the engine that's connected to the car. Because this is how you pull things apart that you don't want to pull apart.
What about the cable that's going into the thing?
That's the clutch cable.
I know, but
it's disconnected. So whenever you get to pulling the engine out, like shake things around, like make sure everything's free before you go yanking on the thing. Okay?
Yeah.
Start jacking. All right, go ahead and start scooting back. Just go slow and I'll watch the core support, okay?
Yep.
All right, come on with it.
Where you going? The wheels probably turn the wrong way. There you go.
You're clear. Okay, hold please. Okay, that's cool. All right, so let me tell you what's up. Julio is going to come pull all this wiring out of this car. None of this wiring stays in this vehicle. Cross member comes out of this vehicle, goes in the other one. We'll swap the front suspensions with the other Fox. You need to make time to get the interior out of this car. Mm-hmm. And then all these bits. But it, in a perfect world, I have the wiring out of this thing first couple days of next week. And then we swap the suspension when the other car comes back from the chassis shop. And then this car can go to the body shop. And now it's your baby to work on and mess with. Mm-hmm. So we'll make a hit list of all the things that need to come off of it. And then we'll pop in over at the body shop and check your progress. So we came down to Turbo People to dyno on the Dyno Jet 224 dyno, and this engine should make around 350, I guess is what I read on the internet. It's basically a stock Coyote with headers and a cold air inlet. I think this car quickly evolves into something with a supercharger, but this gives the customer an opportunity to kind of get his feet wet in a old car because he's used to new cars that have all of the modern features, and this is 90s pony car stuff. So give it a whirl on the dyno, see how it turns out. So that went better than I thought. I haven't worked on a lot of Coyote stuff, especially stock Coyote stuff. And it went from 350 to like 425 with tuning. And I think that'll be pretty cool. There's a ghost cam feature in the Motec, which I think you stock ECU guys get. So it's got some bumpity bump. And it just needs one of those Whipple supercharger intake manifolds, and I think it'll be pretty awesome. But I think overall it's a nice car. Going through the effort of doing the wheel tubs to fit a big tire and having a good control unit in the car and starting off with a really nice car, though you end up with a really nice car. A lot of guys, including myself, have bought some cars that had lived relatively hard lives, and then when you try to sort them into really nice cars, it's like can't get the black paint out of the white paint, and you just end up with a car that's meh. But this car started off as a really nice car, so I think the dude's going to be pretty happy with it, and as it evolves into something a bit more powerful, we'll keep you posted. So we came by the body shop today, Samuel's Auto Body, to see how Caden was doing with his Mustang project. And he's got a lot of stuff off the car. How did that go?
It went pretty smooth. Most of the things had the same sizes, and it was pretty simple, like just like bolts and nuts, simple, no like crazy clips taking them off, and no technique.
Okay.
Very simple.
So you've got the, you got to pull the doors, quarter glasses, window moldings.
Yep.
Where are you at on the color? Same color still?
Same color. I'm pretty sure we're going with Bimini blue.
Right on. How much time have you been putting into the car?
I mean, I've put like, I don't know, like 5 hours doing everything, because I'm not the quickest. I still need tips and tricks.
That's okay. So once you get the doors and the quarter glasses out, like, how are you going to strip this car, paint wise? You got a plan?
Not 100% sure yet.
What did your dad say?
Well, from my truck experience, we used a big, like 8-inch radial sander, whatever.
It's just DA, just start grinding?
Yeah. And we used some paint stripper on the doors when we did mine. So probably something similar.
Okay. When do you think you'll start stripping the paint off the panels?
Probably like within a couple weeks. Maybe within a week.
Okay. Right on. And you're going to do the engine compartment and body color?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, did you decide on hood pins? Like, because before you get into the engine compartment, we got to start plotting if, like, any holes will be filled. Because you have, this hole is not a natural hole. And this hole can be done a little bit nicer. So, you know, you got these Swiss cheese holes everywhere. What is your plan on stripping the compartment? Are you going to blast it?
Blasting might be easier now that I think about it. I have to talk to my dad though.
Okay. Has he been involved, or is he just letting you be free?
So far, I've done everything.
That's cool. Right on. Well, Mustang summer is coming. You better get to work.
I know.
Have a good day.